I was thinking recently about my estranged daughter. It's been a long time since I've heard from her, and I can't help but wonder about our relationship and where things went wrong. I've come across this kind of situation before. I used to know a man named Tony, a friend of my auntie. Now, she wasn't my real auntie, but I used to call her that out of respect. Tony was a drinker, often very drunk, and he would tell me, Jero, make sure you find a rich woman. Dress yourself well, and you'll be able to find a woman with lots of money. He'd say it jokingly, but I often wondered if he was with my auntie for the house she owned, or because she was single and had some wealth. It was a curious thing to think about at the time, and I found myself wondering more about Tony. Apparently, he had a daughter who lived in Wales from a previous marriage. I didn't even know he had been married, let alone that his ex-wife was Welsh. The whole situation was a bit of a shock. Fast forward a few years and Tony suffered a stroke. It wasn't surprising, given all the alcohol and cigarettes he consumed. It was almost inevitable that something like this would happen. He called for help, and I went with my dad to visit him at my auntie's house. We called the ambulance, and he was taken to the hospital. Within 24 hours, he had another stroke and passed away. It was a shock. How could someone be so poorly monitored and die in the middle of the night like that? What struck me the most was that his daughter didn't even know her father had passed away. I've thought about that a lot, wondering whether she would have even cared. She had been estranged from him for years, and I guess it makes me reflect on my own situation with my daughter, especially since we've been so distant. That's messed up, but this happens. When I think about the reasons for that distance, I can trace it back to my father's passing. It hit me so hard. Grief does that to people, right? But the way it hit me, it felt like the foundation of my life was ripped away. I had lived with my parents for most of my life, and my father's death was like the rug being pulled out from under me. It left me feeling lost, vulnerable. I stayed down for a long time, trapped in my own sadness and confusion and hell. During that time, I had 2 phones break on me. I replaced them with old phones, but I didn't use WhatsApp to talk to anyone. For months, I didn't reach out to anyone. It was like I went into a shell. Only recently, one of my cousins made an effort to contact me, and so I responded. Some people would say, why don't you look for your daughter and show her that you love her? The truth is, I do love her, but I've always felt like I'm the one who has to make the effort. It's been the same with my mother. My biological mother hasn't contacted me, and she knows my number. When I do reach out, she'll talk to me, but she doesn't actively look for me. No one does. It's painful. I don't blame my daughter for this. I know that she's probably been influenced to think that a father or any man has to be a certain way, a leader, strong, rich, healthy, essentially a superhero. It didn't help that, in my opinion, her mother influenced her against me. This isn't something unique to my situation. It happens in many families. She grew up with negative thoughts about me, and I can't change that. But did I ever hurt her mother? Did I ever abuse her in any way? No. I just had mental health problems, problems I couldn't understand at the time, and that I still struggle with to this day. In some ways, I still feel like a child myself, unmature, not fully capable of handling everything life throws at me. And I think that's something my daughter doesn't understand. Now she's found someone who represents all the things I wasn't: strong, stable, a leader. Her mother did a good job at influencing her view of what a man should be. And now she's marrying someone so different from me, a Sikh man with a beard and turban. At first I thought it was odd, but I realized I was thinking too much about what I had hoped for rather than what she wanted. She has made choices that are so far removed from what I envisioned for her. I thought she'd marry someone like me, maybe a Christian European man, but she's gone for someone with a completely different background. And that's okay, I guess. If she's happy, that's what matters, but it stings. I think about my biological mother too. When my father passed, she sent a message through my daughter's mother offering her condolences. She said, "Ed, sorry," but there was no personal message, no phone call. She didn't even make the effort to reach out directly to me. I had just spent over an hour on the phone with her, talking about her sister's death and how my ex had withheld that information from me. She thought I wasn't on speaking terms with my biological mother, but the truth was I hadn't spoken to her in years because she never reached out to me. So now I'm left wondering. Many people say I should just reach out to my daughter, to my biological mother, to anyone in my family. Maybe I should. But every time I try, I feel like I'm the one playing the part of the loser, always trying to be the one to bridge the gap for love's sake. I can never be good enough for these people. And that rejection, it cuts deep. It drives a stake of pain into my soul every time. I remember something my mother told me years ago. She said, "Let yourself be wanted." In my own simple language, I think she meant, don't chase people who don't want to see you. But it's hard. The feeling of wanting to reach out, of needing that connection, is overwhelming. I can't help but wonder if I'm chasing people who don't want to be in my life. Maybe they don't need me the way I need them. And yet, despite all this, despite the distance, I still love my daughter. I still love my biological mother. I want to reach out and fix things, but the effort feels one-sided. Maybe one day things will change, but for now, I'll have to accept that sometimes love isn't enough to bridge the distance between us.